You're watching another Bite Size with Sean and myself, Darren, here at Cloud9, and we're keeping ahead of the latest, well, what's going on in the news headlines. And in fact, you may have seen it, Sanchez imposing, or proposing, should I say, not imposing, but proposing the 100% tax when you're purchasing a property. We're here to cut through the noise, Sean, because I know you've been on all of the news outlets, but we're here to give some concise, straight, simple answers.
Yep.
Not too much waffle that everyone else is doing,
try.
but just try on this occasion here because it has been hitting the headlines, isn't it?
Yeah. And this is the Spanish Prime Minister, Pedro Sanchez,
Yeah.
announcing a raft of what he'd like to do with the housing sector in Spain.
Exactly. Okay, question one then. What did Sanchez actually say?
I can tell you that.
All right.
Okay. So what he said, and this is obviously the English translation,
Yeah.
but released from him. After a thorough study, the purchase of homes by non-resident foreigners from outside the EU will be limited. More specifically, the tax burden they will have to pay in case of purchase will be increased to 100% of the value of the property, in line with countries such as Denmark and Canada.
So quite a statement, Sean. What did the lawyers make of this?
We've heard from lots of lawyers, and they say that what he meant was not a 100% tax on the value of the property, like some people have feared. So if you buy a property at 500,000 euros, you get taxed another 500,000 euros. It was more likely to mean that he wanted to double the taxation, the purchase tax on buying a property. And all lawyers seem to be agreed on the interpretation of what he said as meaning that.
Okay, fine. Which at the end of the day is not as harsh.
It's not as harsh. So if he wants to double transfer tax, which is 7% in Andalusia, that would mean a doubling to 14%. It's still a lot, but there's other reasons why it's unlikely to happen.
Right, sure. So to also answer more questions coming in, is it law?
No. It's not law. It's a proposal. It's something he'd like to do, but he has so many hoops to get through to get it passed in Parliament, and even his coalition partners have come out sort of within hours and said, we're not going to back this. So it's unlikely.
Right. So it's also another question, is this likely to be law?
Very, very unlikely to become law because of those reasons. Politically, it's going to be very, very difficult to pass. Most of the political parties in Spain are against this sort of thing. You could say it's a socialist, populist measure, but very unlikely to become law.
Okay. A lot of clients, obviously, a lot of people thinking of buying in Spain or becoming a resident in Spain are of course, concerned about this. If you're outside the EU, another question there, can I become resident?
Absolutely, yeah. So if you're outside of the EU, which is what this applies to, it's people who are non-EU citizens who want to buy for speculative reasons. So if you're looking from outside the EU and you want to buy to become a resident, absolutely, you're not affected. And there are various visa products available to you to become a Spanish resident, EU resident.
Of course, outside the EU, non-resident as well, or non-EU, and thinking about buying in Spain.
Mm-hmm.
Can I buy in Spain?
Absolutely. Yeah. Nothing has changed.
Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed. All we've got is a guy who's just given out a few ideas of what he would like to do, but nothing has changed at all. So if you're from outside the EU and you want to buy a property in Spain, whether it's for a holiday home or a permanent living, absolutely nothing's changed.
Sure. And also to reassure some of our clients as well, as we've been getting a few messages lately in the buying process, and currently in the process of buying here in Spain, obviously duly concerned about it, but there's no cause for concern, is there?
No. I mean, as I say, the likelihood of this becoming law is remote. If it does become law in some way, if there's some extra surcharge on buying a property for those buyers that he's talked about, it's going to be way down the line. I think we're talking years. Even if you say 12 months, 18 months, 2 years, that won't affect anyone buying in 2025. And it shouldn't affect any people even committed to off-plan purchases as long as they've signed a private purchase contract. So, unlikely to affect anyone. Mm-hmm. Or it's not going to affect anyone buying today or next week or next month.
Yeah. So answers to some of your questions and biggest concerns there. And Sean, just to wrap it up here, what's your best advice to give anyone at the moment?
My advice is, look, if you're looking to buy a holiday home in Spain, get on and do it. If by any remote possibility this becomes law, it's going to be in years' time, I think. You're looking at, maybe a couple of years down the line, by which time you'll have bought your holiday home in the sun and you won't be affected. And it's almost a reason to go ahead with your plans rather than something that should hold you back, because nothing has changed. But if you think there is a possibility of it changing for the worse in the future, do it now.
Great advice as always, and I hope that helps, of course, also. Thanks ever so much for joining us on this Bite Size from Sean and myself. Until the next time, keep watching, keep liking, keep subscribing, keep those comments coming in, and we'll see you soon.